In every relationship, there's always someone waiting to distract either of the couples. It could be at their place of work, online, or a random person in a random environment. It happens to both husbands and wives in a marriage. There's always a situation of a woman flirting with another's husband. You may be experiencing the same thing in your relationship. Whether it looks minor or significant enough to break your relationship, it's something to handle in no time. It's normal to have mixed feelings on how to react to a situation like this. But, paying attention to your attitude at a critical time like this should be your main priority. It may seem too complicated if you think about it, but it's not impossible. For starters, there are 23 ways to handle any woman you see flirting with your husband. Number 1. Talk to your husband. One of the healthy things to do when you perceive anything happening against your marriage, talk to your husband. No matter how little or significant it may be. As long as it's an uncomfortable situation. That's because your husband may not be aware of what's happening. If a woman flirts with him, he could feel she's just being nice to him. He could also feel she's complimenting him for his outfit or his good act. So he could be nice to her in return. The reason being that men love compliments. But, it's best to discuss with him first before taking any other action. Number 2. Don't be silent about it. The mistake many women make is to try to conceal the little things they need to discuss. That's not the best way to approach things. Whether it's with your husband, best friend, family member, or work colleague, let them know how you feel. When someone flirts with your husband, say something. It doesn't matter if you say it to your husband or the new woman. As a wife, your opinion matters a lot. You don't necessarily have to confront anyone, act in a subtle way. Don't pretend as if you're not affected by seeing a woman flirting with your husband. That's a way to handle a situation like this. Number 3. Subtly acknowledge it by talking to her. If you feel like something will happen for a long period, it's good to address it as soon as possible. Don't wait for it to get to a dead end. One way to find a solution to an uncomfortable situation is to acknowledge the real problem before knowing who to confront. Let her know you know she's flirting with your husband. Make it clear that you're not fighting, but would appreciate it if she started talking to him in a certain way. It's your way of telling or reminding her that he's a married man and it's a no-no to flirt with him. Number 4. Laugh sarcastically. Laughter has a way of solving things, especially when the person you're laughing at knows she's at fault. Depending on how you laugh, you could make a woman stop flirting with your husband. No matter how interested or attracted she makes your husband feel, just laugh. Laughter means many things, depending on the situation. If you start laughing immediately, your gut feelings tell you a woman is flirting with your husband, you could dissolve every conversation. First, everyone's attention would shift to you. Then, she'll feel uneasy to continue. As funny as it may seem, that's one way to deal with a woman flirting with your husband. Number 5. Increase your trust in your husband. During situations like this, try not to allow your doubts to bring distrust between you and your husband. Even when you start feeling insecure for some reason, look for ways to handle it amicably. You can even say things to let him know you're with him. It's a sensitive period, and the last thing you want to do is start having doubts about your husband's faithfulness. If you find yourself unconsciously doing that, say it aloud to him, and reassure him that you trust him. That way, you indirectly prevent or delay anything bad from happening until you can sort it out completely. Number 6. Don't feel insecure about the situation. Whenever another woman comes into your relationship picture, it's hard to still maintain your balance. It doesn't matter if she's a young and attractive woman or not, see yourself as a beautiful woman, too. As long as you trust your husband. See it as one of those temporary phases. Dealing with a situation where you see another woman flirting with your husband openly could be stressful, especially if your husband is not blunt. So, try to make yourself feel sexually desirable in a relaxed way. Be yourself and don't try too hard to look more attractive than the woman. That would give you more strength to deal with the situation. Number 7. Give more attention to your husband. The power of a situation only increases when you give it attention. The same thing applies when you see someone flirting with your husband. Don't give it attention. Instead, concentrate on your husband. Act as you would do with him on a normal day. Don't seem interested in anything she does. Giving your husband more attention would keep his focus on you. Start any conversation you know will shift his focus from the flirting woman. But, also a topic she can't contribute to. Do it effortlessly and pretend nothing else is happening in the environment. This is how most married men avoid falling for women who flirt with them. Number 8. Keep calm. Calmness helps to guide people in the next step to take. Unlike a wife who would exhibit her craziness when someone flirts with her husband, a calm woman would know the correct steps to take. You don't want to embarrass your husband, but give him reasons to love you more. If you observe a random woman trying to flirt with your husband, keep calm. Let it happen for a while before you go into action. That calmness will give you an opportunity and a clear head to process how to react to the situation. That's when you'll know if to talk to your husband or address the woman. Number 9. Give her the benefit of doubt. Not everything you see or hear means exactly what you think. Some things are mere suspicions of the fears you have every day. And one of those fears is seeing another woman flirt with your husband. One thing to do when this happens is to leave things to unfold. Don't react immediately. Give her the benefit of doubt without suspecting her. Watch her expression, listen to her choice of words, and see how she responds to your husband's replies. Whatever she does would send a clear message to you to know if she's flirting or not. But, don't conclude at the first instance or sight. Number 10. Confide in someone you trust. Nobody is a superwoman to have solutions to all the problems they're going through. If your marriage is going through a little shake, there's no harm in confiding in someone else. Whether it's to your male friends or a scheduled marriage counseling, share your thoughts with other trusted people. Women fall into depression faster for things like this. If the flirting has been happening for a while, you feel like you've exhausted your options, and losing your mind, reach out for help. Confide in someone you know who wouldn't let out your secret. Tell them exactly how you feel and ask how they'd handle a situation like that. Number 11. Watch your husband's body language. There's a natural push to blame one person for the cause of a problem. This happens mainly if someone you love is involved in an issue with another. When a young woman is flirting with your husband, watch him respond. Is he doing it happily or he's not interested? Is he also waiting for a longer conversation with her? The fault may not be from the young woman. It could be from your husband, too. So, watch his facial expressions and see who's responding more to the conversation. He could be encouraging her to flirt more with him. Not every married man does this, but you should confirm before you confront anyone. Number 12. Don't be over-friendly with the woman. Don't ever think that being over-friendly to a woman who has eyes for your husband would solve the situation. It would make it worse. That's because you'll make yourself readable enough for her to know your weak points. And that's all a flirting woman needs to achieve her goal. If you fall into the category of women who feel if they're nice to a woman who's flirting with their husband, they'll stop him from cheating, you may be wrong. Except you're doing it to achieve an aim for the future. If you do that without a reason, you could unconsciously make yourself look insecure. Number 13. Let your husband handle it. You may have rights to your husband's life, but it doesn't mean they're completely clueless on how to manage certain things. Of course, it's normal for you to look out for him, especially when you know it'll affect you directly. But, sometimes, you have to let him do it his way. You don't know all the women who flirt with him daily. He may not tell you, but tell them off, amicably. So, if you see a lady flirting with your husband, allow him to handle it. You'd be surprised to see him do it better than you. You're his wife and he respects you more than you know. Number 14. Don't transfer any aggression to your husband. Sometimes, present situations could trigger the angry past. Whether it's the same situation you're going through or not, don't let it affect your husband. Seeing another girl flirt with your husband could make you jealous, which is not bad at all. It only gets worse when it turns to uncontrolled aggression. No matter the situation or what might happen between another girl and your husband, don't transfer aggression to him. Instead, excuse him and discuss it with him, amicably. Tell him you don't like what's happening. If you don't do this, it could affect your marriage in the long run if not solved at the right time. Number 15. Use it as a time to improve your marriage. Most times, as a wife, you may not feel the need to rekindle the spark in your marriage until you feel threatened. It's not healthy to let it get to that stage, but if it does, make the best out of the opportunity. Instead of getting engulfed by jealousy, try doing things to improve your marriage. As a married couple, feel free to improve your sex life. Appreciate your husband more, and if possible, start flirting with him. Spend more time with him and listen to him if you don't do it normally. It's a way to get rid of any unwanted distractions in your marriage. Number 16. Relax. It's not everything you worry about. Some things should just come off as a joke for you. If you're best friends with your husband and a girl gets touchy with him, it's something you should both use as a joke for the day. Don't take it seriously, accept it does. If your husband is cute with lovely features, it's normal for a girl to be attracted to him. But that shouldn't get to you if you trust him. Watch things unfold as they both converse. Listen to your husband discuss with her, relax and have fun. It's as simple as that. Not everything is as complicated as it looks. Number 17. See it as a minor natural happening. Attraction is something that happens naturally. Like a married man, married women also attract men. It's something that happens all the time in different ways. When you see a woman flirting with your husband, look at it as a natural crush that happens between two people at a certain time. Nobody is ever wrong for having feelings for the other. Everyone has the right to be attracted to as many people as they want. So, when a girl is flirting with your husband, it means she admires him for a reason or two. It's not something for you to fight anyone for, just take the right steps. Number 18. Start a conversation with the girl. When something wants to throw you off balance, take the lead. Don't let it control you. Apart from your relationship, you should apply this to most aspects of your life. Start a conversation with any girl you see or hear flirting with your husband. Occupy her for the longest period. Ask her questions about her love life. Start a conversation about her boyfriend. Make it obvious that you don't want her ruining your marriage, which is why you would concentrate on knowing more about her boyfriend, and advising her to stick to him. You could let her know that he's your partner, with references to your past experiences together. Number 19. If she's your friend, give her some space. In most situations, the people who hurt you are not random, but close friends. That's because they know your strengths and weaknesses, and how to manipulate them. If the girl flirting with your husband is your friend, don't only address it, give her some space. Don't get this wrong. You don't have to fight or quarrel with her, but gradually peacefully detach from her. You can still remain friends, but reduce the number of times you see her, you both hang out, or the things you tell her about your marriage. That way, the closeness between both of you would reduce. Number 20. Try not to do anything negative. There are certain situations that could make you go crazy, unconsciously. The craziness could justify some things in your heart, but it's not the best way to approach any problem. When someone is flirting with your partner, there's that urge for you to attack them, whether you're sure of what they're doing or not. Take some time to cool off first. You don't want to be involved in a crime or do anything you'll regret in the future. You don't also want to look overprotective of your grown-up partner. Instead, take a little time to ask questions, or listen to her to know the next thing to do. Number 21. Create boundaries. In life, you need to create boundaries to avoid unnecessary familiarity. Whether it's in your relationship or not, people should know their limits in your personal life. Do it subtly with words first. If it gets out of hand, you can proceed to take a stern, but friendly action. What does this mean? If you feel like a woman is becoming too touchy-feely with your husband, strike a boundary. It's a red flag. Try to answer some questions she asks him. When she notices you responding to the questions he should answer, it would be clear to her to either stop flirting or obvious that you're his wife. Number 22. Take some time to confirm she's flirting. People make the mistake of jumping to conclusions when they see what they feel could be offensive. It's good to stop, observe and be sure your suspicions are right. The same thing applies to when you think a girl is flirting with your husband. To avoid mixing things up, listen to her speak for a while. Watch her body language. This is to prevent you from mixing up professional services with romantic gestures. So, she could be trying to be a good worker to your husband, but you misinterpret it to be flirting. Before acting, make sure it's what you're thinking, and not a misinterpretation of things. Number 23. Mention it to her face with your husband present. Many women who try flirting with people's husbands don't like to be warned or stopped softly. They only stop if the wife comes hard on them. If you see any girl flirting with your husband, let her know you'll not tolerate such talks from her. Sometimes, you should be blunt when need be. If you feel it's getting out of hand, especially with little or no regard for your presence, say to her face, "Stop flirting with my husband." She'll not only feel embarrassed but may never try it again for some time. Even if she does, it won't be with your husband, and she may take some time to get over it. Don't forget to click the link in the description below and download my free ebook. Also, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like and also make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, so you get notified whenever I post new content, and follow me on Instagram for daily relationship tips.